Om yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tamha devam atma buddhi prakasham mumukshur vai sharanamaham prapadye. We have come to the last part of this Bhriguvalli. See, I told you why you should not rush through all this. Okay, because some amount of, you must feel the truth of what they are saying. Till Vijnanamay Kosh, you will feel the truth of it, definitely. And you sort of have a sense of identity with these different dimensions of your personality. Your body, your mind, the Pranamay Kosh also, the mind, the intellect. But beyond this, it's a little hazy in your perception, not in the fact of your being. Okay? The problem is our senses are turned outward, mind is also turned outward, and that's your only medium of perception just now. So it is difficult. Are you getting what I'm saying? See, your perceptions depend upon the lens you are using to perceive. Now that lens is functioning like this. It can only track outer things. So once you come to the intellect, you feel this is all I am. This much I am. And whatever is outside this, it's not me. But when we come to the next portion of Bhriguvalli, they will point out straight. Because now you see this Bhrigu is doing tapasya and coming and telling his father what he finds, isn't it? That's the beauty of this entire story, you see. The father tells him every time, my son, you are coming towards the truth, but still go and do more tapasya. Tapasa brahma vijignyasasva. And come and tell me what you find. So again he goes for tapasya, and when he comes back this time, he says, Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. Which means now I know. It's the Anandamay Kosh that I am. See, this word Anandamay Kosh, it is not easily available to you in today's modern life. You, intelligence still you know, intellect you know, mind you know. Anandamay Kosh, what is that? You will say. But in the Panchakosha model of Vedant, see, the body is called Annamay Kosh. So here Annam meant Annamay Kosh. The vital energy sheath is called Pranamay Kosh, your vitality. And then the mind is called Manomay Kosh. The intellect is called Vijnanamay Kosh. And the causal body, subtler than the subtle, that is being called Anandamay Kosh. So it is that part of that dimension of your personality from where consciousness streams into the mind. They have given it a name. They have given it a name. And it's so subtle, it goes undetected. So you feel the mind is conscious by itself. From where consciousness and happiness, bliss, stream into the mind and make the mind conscious and happy, that is the Anandamay Kosh. It's a very subtle dimension of your own personality. It's not yet the Atman, okay? It's not yet the self. But it's the sheath next to the self. The last sheath. From your actual being, it's the first sheath. Right? So this is the Anandamay Kosh. And now Bhrigu, it's difficult to detect it. How to detect these things, only by the power of meditation. Only by the power of meditation. See, if Vedanta is telling you mind is matter and consciousness is separate from matter, Atman is separate from the mind, you must find out how.
But this meditation is different from the one which we do, right?
So that, see, what you do is objective meditation.
Yes.
It is Rupa Dhyan, Nama Dhyan, that kind of Leela Dhyan.
But that will not help in...
see, why will it not help? The thing is, any type of meditation finally purifies the mind. Isn't it? When the mind, and because we are very, very form-oriented, name-oriented, all those meditations help you. But what you will arrive at as a result of that is a complete state of pure mind, by which will reflect intense awareness. Isn't it? See, when we talk of increasing awareness or decreasing awareness or refining awareness, culturing awareness, increasing the level of awareness, we are only talking about mental awareness. We are not yet talking about the Atman. Isn't it? Mental awareness, you feel it just now, aren't you feeling it? Your sense of being in the mind is your mental awareness. It is a reflection of the Atman. When the mind becomes utterly pure through meditation, it will reflect more of that awareness. So you become deeply conscious. This is how you become deeply conscious. But it's not yet consciousness itself. That is when you will understand what is Anandamaya Kosh. It is that, you can say, sheath or plane, like a strip between your mind, which is becoming increasingly conscious, and the Atman, which is pure consciousness itself. So the intermediate area is being called like that just because to help you understand that the mind becomes conscious due to something. The mind becomes blissful due to something. The intrinsic nature of the mind is not bliss and consciousness. Okay? It is borrowed from where? From the Atman, through the Anandamaya Kosh. And thus the mind appears to be happy, conscious. You see, like the moon borrows light from the sun. But on a full moon night, does it appear it is borrowing light? It appears so luminous, the moon, you feel it is shining by itself. Isn't it? How beautiful it looks. But it's all borrowed light. The moon has no light of its own. It is borrowing from the sun and reflecting it towards you. Isn't it? Please bolt the door. So when you are functioning on borrowed light, your luminosity is entirely borrowed. Now they are telling you your mind is functioning like that. To check it out and see, you have to do meditation. The pure mind will tell you its source, the source of its conscious experience. Shejane, Koraki Kartavya, what is to be done is you have to purify mind. Deepen your level of consciousness, conscious experience. Not conscious outer experience, but just becoming intensely aware. As you go on deepening, it will itself tell you how to proceed. So it is through this Anandamaya Kosh that the light of consciousness penetrates into your mind. This is the light of awareness. So your mind becomes mentally aware. And you are trying to understand even consciousness through that awareness. Please see. You know how it is like? It is like trying to see the sun with a torch. Can you see the sun with a torch? Does it require a torch first of all? No. But still, you feel without a torch I can't see. And secondly, who's charging your torch batteries? It's the light of the sun. So also the awareness through which you are trying to penetrate into pure consciousness is nothing but a reflection of that pure awareness through this Anandamaya and Manomaya Kosh.
Actually, the entire problem lies in the mind only and nowhere.
That is why sadhana is in the mind. Sadhana is not outside your mind. Outside your mind is Atman only. Sadhana is in the mind, for the mind. Bondage is in the mind, mukti is in the mind, sadhana is in the mind. So take care of your mind. That's all they are telling you. Outside the mind, it's only either reality or unreality, Either you will reach the truth or you will just go to sleep when you jump outside your mind. Isn't it true? So now when we understand this, that's why you see how related Yoga Vedanta are. Yoga is to do with mind. Vedanta is to do with consciousness. But you experience the conscious mind. So that is why these two, philosophically they are different, but psychologically they relate in terms of sadhana. So understanding this, we will try to experience Anandamaya Kosh. This can happen in meditation, in a clear state of where there's utter clarity of awareness. You will see that consciousness filters into your mind. Through what? Anandamaya Kosh. Isn't this interesting? Consciousness filters into your mind. That is why Vedanta always told you, consciousness and mind are two different things. They are not one and the same thing. Consciousness and mind are two different things. Now, a whole lot of people will be perplexed by statements like this. Because I told you in Western philosophy, mind is consciousness. But you can have a totally unconscious mind, isn't it? You can have unconscious mind, subconscious mind. What does that mean? Prove?
Mind is different from consciousness.
Consciousness at in different levels will reflect in your mind. Consciousness will reflect as per the density of your mind. If it's very dense, less awareness. Isn't it? So fundamentally they are different. Consciousness is not the intrinsic property of mind. It is the extrinsic property of mind. It can be borrowed, but it is not its intrinsic property. Otherwise there wouldn't be two names. What is the name for consciousness in Sanskrit? Who can tell me? Don't say man.
Chetana.
Chetana. Auric. Samvit.
Chitti.
Chit.
Sat is existence.
Sat is existence.
Chit, the chit
Yes,
part
chit
is
part.
consciousness.
Chit, Chaitanya, Chetana, Samvit, Bodh. Thakur used to use the word Bodh. Bodhe Bodh Kara. So all these words are meaning Chaitanya. And for mind, what words do you have?
Manas.
Manas,
Ahankar.
Buddhi, Ahankar, all aspects of mind only.
Different functions of mind.
Man is mind. Two different things. In English, you have only one word. Now, mind and consciousness are used interchangeably. This is the whole confusion. Isn't it? So that is why if you actually dive into the scriptures, you will see they make clear demarcation between these two. The very fact that your mind has different levels of awareness means awareness is not intrinsic property of your mind. You know what is intrinsic property? That which does not change. It remains the same. Like liquid is intrinsic property of milk.
It is not dependent on.
It is not, yeah, exactly. It will always be like that. Isn't it? Heat is intrinsic property of fire. Can there be cold fire? No. So heat is intrinsic property. But heat is not intrinsic property of the rice you are cooking. Rice can be cold. If you heat it, it will heat up. And it will lose that heat also. But what doesn't lose its nature is the intrinsic property. So consciousness is not intrinsic property of mind. That is why it is apart from mind. See, this is all Vedantic logic. You must catch this. And that's why consciousness and mind are two different things.
And whatever changes is not consciousness.
Whatever changes is not consciousness. And whatever is illumined by consciousness.
So consciousness, Purush, Brahman is all same.
Same.
Awareness.
Pure awareness is
Pure
consciousness. Yes.
Purush, Brahman.
So that's why we discussed all those Upanishadic statements which go to say Brahman is of the nature of pure consciousness. Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. Of course, these are the Mahavakyas. In addition to this, there are so many Upanishads. I quoted from the 7th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. Na prajnam, na aprajnam, na ubhayata prajnam. See, they are all pointing towards the nature of Brahman as pure consciousness. That is why Vedanta is the science of consciousness. Now you have whole departments of consciousness studies, but if you don't have Vedanta there, whether you call it Vedanta or not, this dimension of reality, which is so obvious to the illumined mind, must become part of consciousness studies. Isn't it? See, the more outward turned our senses and mind are, the more they are going to think the limit is the mind. Beyond that, there is nothing. It will become like that because your instrument of perception has become deluded. What to do? Reality is always as it is. The instrument through which you are perceiving reality got distorted. Now what will you do? That is why now here the instruments are, your mind is the instrument, your buddhi is the instrument. So you have to bring them to a level, a pitch of clarity, without which you will not perceive this. It's that simple. See, they brought down the Hubble Space Telescope and they put one more, no? Why did they do that? Now it's not giving the views it was giving. It got corrupted. So it has to be put down. If your very instrument of perception goes corrupt, how will you perceive reality as it is? Same thing applies here. If your very mind is compromised, it will not show reality as it is. That is why without sadhana, tapasa brahma vijignyasasva, without sadhana you can't come to this knowledge. Mind is compromised in 100 ways. Check and see your own life. To bring it to that rarefied state of utter clarity, sadhana is required.
So it has too much data and too much memory.
See, exactly she is giving out the problem. Too much data and too much memory. And constant bombardment every day. Swami Yatishwaranji Maharaj used to say, every day you must be able to undo what you have done. By the power of sadhana. It's very easy to erase things on your laptop and mobile. Okay, delete. You can't do that with mind. Once an impression is formed, there's no delete button. No eraser. What will you do? And the tendency of your mind is to follow the grooves. Your vital energy enlivens all the grooves, those impressions in the grooves. And you will constantly keep repeating things in your mind. And you become comfortable within your mind that way. So to get rid of all this enormous conditioning and memory, see, when I use the word memory, people get frightened. What are you trying to say? We have to get rid of our memory? I'll go crazy. Somebody said, if I have to, you won't go crazy if you become deeply conscious in the process.
Actually, God aids us.
That's why you see, use bhakti.
Days.
You are right.
We cannot even remember what we had for lunch last Wednesday. All these are deleted actually. God helps us in deleting all these functions. But the thing is, what you have to remember, if that is not remembered, what is the point? Prajna, I told you, it doesn't mean just high memory. It means that intelligence which is born of awareness. Wisdom.
Yes, that wisdom, it may not be of the nature of a conclusion. It is of the nature of light. Light is a wonderful metaphor for spiritual knowledge. You know everything in a flash. Because you are not using the aid of memory. It is intuition, it is light. Without deliberation also you are knowing it. So all this is only possible if the mind is luminous, The whole structure of our culture was to produce such minds. That is why whatever you will find as... No questions here because it's getting recorded. Questions in the evening. What I'm trying to focus on is, if you want to understand Anandamay Kosh and beyond that, a luminous mind is required. Without that you can't know it. That's why I stopped the last talk at there. Feel the reality of these things. If you have to intuit Anandamay Kosh, you must bring mind to that level of stability and clarity so that you feel that awareness streams into the mind. And if the mind is dense, it will not stream into that mind. It can't hold that awareness. So due to all these things, tapasya is required. So you see, this time now, Bhrigu comes and says, we are going to chant this. Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat.
Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat.
Anandadyeva khal vimani bhutani jayante.
Anandadyeva khal
खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते आनन्देन जातानि जीवन्ति जातानि जीवन्ति आनन्दं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति सैषा भार्गवी वारुणी विद्या परमे व्योमन् प्रतिष्ठिता स य एवं वेद प्रतितिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिः ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या इति षष्ठो अनुवाकः. So now finally Bhrigu comes and tells his father, I think I know it, it's Anandamay Kosh. What I am is the Anandamay Kosh. And then why Anandadeva khalvimani bhutani jayante anandena jatani jivanti anandam prayantyabi samvishanti, which means things are born of this Anandamay Kosh. They live there and then they merge back there. I have found this through my tapasya. And then the father again said, after this the father says, my son, you have come close to the knowledge of the Atman, but it is not yet the Atman. Go beyond this. And it is said that Bhrigu did a further long course of tapasya and came to the understanding that my consciousness does not stream even from the Atman into the mind. Only Atman is. Only consciousness is. Whatever comes close to that light gets luminous. Catches that light, as it were. See, the moon, is it holding the light of the sun? It is reflecting the light of the sun. So also mind is reflecting the light of the Atman. It is reflecting the light of the Atman and appears to be luminous. It is not conscious by itself. So this understanding will only come by the power of sadhana, and by this what do you actually come? You come to the conclusion that reality is ever as it is. See, when you discover the truth of existence, the Atman, you will clearly see that it ever was, ever is and ever will be. The whole problem is the mind. It wanes, just like the moon. Sometimes it's very, according to its density, it reflects that light of awareness. And I am dancing according to that. My moods fluctuate according to that. My thoughts fluctuate according to that. My feelings fluctuate. Even my senses fluctuate accordingly. So the whole thing is in the mind. If I bring my mind to a level of clarity, I will understand the Atman ever is. It is the core factor about your personality. The core truth about you. It is the unchanging I. Not the mind. Not even this Anandamay Kosh. And it is of the nature of luminosity because it is of the nature of consciousness. It is of the nature of, it is your very existence, unchanging existence. And it is bliss itself. Its streaming through the mind makes you conscious of things. But it itself does not require any other evidence, any other justification, proof. Because it is existence itself. Don't think Sat, Chit and Anand are three properties of the self. They are not three properties. It is intrinsic nature of the self. It is existence, it is consciousness and it is bliss. I told you what is intrinsic property. Its very unchanging nature is this. And the rest is all, making up of your mind. It's the concoction of mind. If mind itself is dense, it will not reflect this light. So your knowledge will be very little. You may know a number of things in the world. But you could know it even through Google. Today you have powerful search engines to give you whatever data, knowledge you want. Tomorrow, this is what will happen. Your intelligence will not be measured in terms of how much data you have in your head or how much memory you have in your intelligence.
No.
That is besides the point, because you have more powerful memory systems with you.
You won't need all that.
You won't need, and you won't invest your understanding of intelligence into all that. Intelligence will be how much your mind will reflect awareness. See, this is where yoga and Vedanta will come big way. Because they are helping your mind attain that level of awareness. How aware and deeply conscious you become, that intelligent you will become, that brilliant. Because now your knowledge is of the nature of insight, intuition, and not borrowing from memory. And the search engines and artificial intelligence will aid you in getting out data whenever you want and keeping it where it is not required, not carrying it in your head. So this is how human intelligence will function in another 5 decades, you see. This is how it will function, because we will understand the importance of this. So this is what these Upanishads are actually telling us. Please see, Saisha Bhargavi Varuni Vidya, he says. This is the Bhargavi Varuni Vidya, the meditation technique which Bhrigu used to come to the knowledge of Brahman. He crossed all the dimensions of the human personality and arrived at the fact of pure consciousness, which is quite separate from the mind but reflects in the mind, so as to enable this personality to get enlivened from within. You are enlivened from within. Yes. See, today we have studied the sun, solar energy so much that we feel we are enlivened by solar energy. That you are. Your mechanism is, but your consciousness itself comes from within you. Does it come from the sun? Sun is perceived in your consciousness. Please see. So what it means to say is that the Lord of the universe is shining in your heart. Where are you searching for Him? He is at the center of your being. He is the core of your existence. God is only within you, shining through your personality, shining in your eyes. But no, we have to lock Him up in a temple and we have to see Him only there. So this we developed because, if you lose touch with ever-existent reality, you will want to, confine Him according to the confines of your mind to a limited space, limited time, limited characteristics. Because you yourself are bound, you will make Him also remain bound. Yes, this is how we reduce the worship of Virat into worship of one particular aspect of God. That alone is real. So we are capable of all this. It all depends on our development, isn't it? If you want to see reality as it is, you must open up to reality. Let go of the confines of, freedom means this, mukti. Why we call it mukti? Liberate yourself from this, the confinement of your mind. Understand the smallness of your thinking faculty, the limitations of your intellect. This is a big thing to understand, and that there is real life in consciousness which is beyond this Panchakosha. This much if you understand, your intelligence will blossom like anything. I'm telling you, memory and all that will not be a problem at all. Memory, focus, these will not be the issues in your life. And emotional intelligence, whatever you call it today, spiritual intelligence, all this will come naturally. You will be a very balanced, organized person within yourself, because you have organized your mind. Because you have stepped into the self-knowledge. See, we understood the glory of this planet only when we stepped outside the planet, isn't it? You remember those first pictures which Apollo sent? The blue sapphire, emerald shining in the sky. They took the world by storm. Because you understand the beauty of our planet when you step outside it. So also you will understand the value of your buddhi and mind when you step outside it. Otherwise it's all a diluted version of your immense possibilities. That's all. So this knowledge that is why called the ultimate knowledge, Paravidya, the supreme knowledge, because it will put everything in its place. And this was called, in this particular chapter it is called Saisha Bhargavi Varuni Vidya Parame Vyoman Pratishtita. It is established in the highest consciousness and it is intuited as I, as self-awareness. There is no other way to it. Because it is not an object of perception. Parame Vyoman is used in many mantras. It means the limitless or unlimited sky of awareness. I told you there are 3 spaces. Sthulakash, Chittakash and Chidakash. Where you will find awareness will be in Chidakash, not in Chittakash. Body is in Sthulakash, your thoughts are in Chittakash, but awareness you will find only in Chidakash. Why not in Chittakash?
It is a part of the mind.
It is mind. Your mind only reflects awareness to a certain degree as per its density. But it does not have consciousness as intrinsic to its existence. So you see, you will find it in the Parame Vyoman, Pratishtita. So ya evam Veda Pratitishthati. And one who knows it thus, he will get established in the highest wisdom. He will get established in the highest wisdom. And what are the results of this knowledge? That is also, you see, very beautifully put here. What will this get you practically? Annavan annado bhavati. That person, Annavan means actually, if you take the literal translation, it means he becomes capable of eating well. What it means to say is he is capable, his physical health is guaranteed because his mental health is guaranteed. His mind every day dips into awareness and becomes fresh. So his body remains healthy. And Mahan Bhavati, he will be a great man. Naturally, the glow on his personality will be like that. See, you will draw only people, those people close to you who are in your frequency, isn't it? What wavelength you have, only according to that you draw people close to you, isn't it? So everywhere you can see that. That's why they say with youngsters the kind of associations they have shows their type of mind. So if you want to draw the highest minds, you must be of that type. So Mahan means that one who is capable of drawing real worthy people. And Prajaya Pashubhi Brahma Varchasena. Praja here means the brahmacharis who used to come to those rishis, they were looked upon as their own children. So very high-minded brahmacharis will come to you. Noble people will come to you. And Pashubhi, Pashu was a measure of wealth, cattle. In Vedic age, cattle was the measure of wealth. So you will have a lot of wealth, and by what? Due to what? Due to your Brahma Varchas, which means the aura of luminosity, spiritual luminosity around you. See, what is an aura?
Energy.
It is your vitality exuding from your physical space. It is actually the sum total of your thoughts that creates your aura. So this Brahma Varchas, the knower of Brahman, exudes a level of energy which very noble people will understand. The ordinary will not understand. So they won't come. But the extraordinary will come. Because they understand the worth of this luminosity. So by your Brahma Varchas, you will draw the best minds. That's what he says. So now people are writing book, how to influence people and all that. Don't be fooled by you can't influence another mind unless you are in a position to influence it. Isn't it? And he will have great fame, Mahan Kirtya. Mahan Bhavati Prajaya Pashubi Brahma Varchasena and Mahan Kirtya. Great fame will be his. But remember, for the Rishi, fame means nothing. But he will be well known because he has become a unique source of spiritual illumination for other minds. So this will be the result of this Brahma Vidya. That's the idea. Now the rain has started.